Yeah, well, I feel like that was the right response. Quickly, as we load into the Rift here, let's talk about scaling. So obviously it's the favorite term down under, right? You can have this phenomenal early game, you can snowball, and you can flip the game at level 1 invade, and it may all go pear-shaped from that point onwards. But having a quick glimpse at both comps, do you think there's a certain side, if it were to go late, that would just benefit greatly?
Yeah, I think ION are definitely in the driver's seat just because of the Yon Cassante matchup. I think Yon, once he gets to 3-4 items, he definitely can beat Cassante on side. And then you've also got the mid lane Jinx, who outranges Varus, right? So that's easy mid prior. So you've sort of got a winning mid lane for ION late game and a winning side.
Let's see then, Fido. Let's load ourselves into the Rift here for game number 1. A battle really between opposites attracting in the sense that ION are 4-0, KNG and 0-4. You said it's motivation for KNG. It certainly should be. And it looks to try and convert that into a level 1 invade. Nebula, actually, with the rocket launcher active, this is going to remind Invictus. You can plant that wall, but I know exactly what you're doing. And Jovi's seen them all walk in. And even he's going to say, well, I'm going to drop you low. Have fun with your jungle clear.
Yeah. I mean, that was a ballsy invade, really not checking if they're being watched, just kind of going in for the ward, not expecting Maokai to start red trinket, which I think is a fair guess. Maokai wants to ward for the invade himself, so yeah, just kind of standard play. Both junglers know where each other starts, and we start the game.
We do start the game, yes. So let's have a look at bot lane in particular. That's where it should most likely show the most signs of action, given that has been really the common theme of the LCO so far. It's all been about, can you get level 2, and then can you get the siege to push, and the ability for your jungler to then interact as a result. Will we see a level 3 gank from Foreigner? It hasn't really been his tendency, but certainly can, if given the opportunity, get quite aggressive in that regard. Has been filling in this very much engaged role with the likes of Jarvan and Vi to his name. And Maokai, certainly with the easy engage of a Nature's Grasp, can make things, or Twisted Advance rather, certainly can make things happen in that same vein.
Yeah, so we see Graves is just doing a top clear down, but Maokai is doing a bit of an interesting path. I think this is what some people call the Void Grubs path, where you kind of do your bot side, do the top side, do just the bot side again, and then run to Void Grubs. So it doesn't make it very efficient on spawning the camps, but it does mean that you sort of arrive at Void Grubs by 5 minutes, and you can contest them. So we'll definitely see Graves kind of get ahead in the jungle, just from his path alone.
Yeah. What do you make of Void Grubs? As somebody who's been playing the game for a hot minute, do you think it's been a positive change to the game, or do you find it kind of annoying?
Oh, absolutely. I think, more objectives to fight over just gives people more reason, to do cool out plays, and yeah, it just keeps the game fresh. That's why we love League. That's why it doesn't feel stale like a lot of other sports, and because of all the patches, all the changes. I think it's great, but I do think that they're a bit of a bait. I think they're very overvalued, because getting that first grub camp, if you sacrifice a lot of camps to do it, and you don't secure the next spawn, right, and you're just sitting at 3 grubs, it really doesn't do too much if you just have the 3 grubs. So you're sort of going for that magic number 5 if you want to put emphasis on it.
Yeah, we've certainly seen that happen a few times where teams have rushed the first one and maybe all in a little bit too hard to try and get the follow-up ones, as opposed to maybe just setting up a wave or just getting turret plates instead, which in recent weeks, I think actually last week we saw a prime example of that. The first 3 went to a certain team, then as a result they said, well, we know that the opposition are going to think we're going to go for that. Let's just get some turret plates instead. Easy gold. And as you say, not going to get baited by the allure of what that one could offer. Doraemon, going to keep Wood on in check here. Drop him down low, about 30% as a result of that. Nice, that Flame Spitter. Wave's going to crash as a result as well. And he has run the Ignite here, Fighter, right? So he is all in and trying to snowball this lane. If he falls behind, there's no TP to bail him out.
Could be a kill, Skimmy, if he decides to go for it, but I think the minion wave dies a little bit too quickly there. But it definitely props to Doraemon. I think the crucial part about these Ignite matchups is to stay healthy as the Ignite champion, because it's so easy to try and cheese the kill, trade some health, and the other guy flashes away, TP's back, and suddenly you're low resources, no TP, and you're struggling to win that lane. So I think Doraemon has, he's playing towards the bigger picture, conserving his health, just playing for short pokes, and maintaining prio in that lane.
Absolutely, as you saw there. Nice little recall from that of Foreigner. Dodging out that ward that was placed. Invictus is going to rotate up to the top side, but Ward's going to spot him taking these Krugs as well. So Doraemon, fully aware of this one. Not going to show any signs that that vision has been planted, because he's just still pushing like you would not believe, making sure that he can get a good first base. And ideally get a nice purchase to come back to this lane and can continue to be as aggressive as this with level 6 not too far away.
Yeah, look at the bot lane. That's a huge TS gap. Varus, Renata, Turok, and Rila just putting on quite a show. 10 CS up already. They get the tempo base as well, so I doubt Nebula and Hexflash will be able to crash this wave. Maybe red side can pull it. That's huge. Invictus looking for a mid gank here, but he's playing Graves with no crowd control.
Yeah, it's going to be a smoke screen, and that's about it. You're really looking at Refury finding the moment to try and hit that route. He goes for the flash. There is the damage, and that is the conviction you need to get yourself on the board and starting off with a Graves that wants to do damage.
Yeah, that's a little bit of jitters from Jovi there. He actually W flashes backwards. Just kind of a panic flash and misses his W. And your own W gives you a massive shield that's been buffed multiple times. So perhaps if he saved his W there and got a two-man shield, he would have lived. But not to be. Foreigner, using the opportunity, using the fact he spotted Graves to do the Void Grubs camp, and it's a little bit of a trade. A Dragon for Void Grubs. I'd say that's pretty favorable for KNG, because the Dragon does give you sort of a guaranteed win condition if you get two of them, whereas the Grubs, you know, if you miss a couple, it's not as impactful.
Absolutely, you do see it on the interface there now. You can actually got a bit of a tracker that shows, so 3 Grubs going the way of Ion. That was the trade-off between you go for the Dragon, you get the first blood. Well, I know exactly where you are, and we can look to pick this one up as a result instead. Speaking of those power spikes, Doraemon is going to return to lane with level 6 advantage, Sork boots as well. I mean, if these harpoons land, there's just no resistance left on Wooden. He could just die on the tower.
Yeah, Woodon is just getting crushed in this matchup, -20. That's a big number at 6 minutes. You do expect Cassante to sort of struggle against the Rumble with Ignite especially, but he needs to try and keep that lead to a minimum. We also see Varus is going for the lethality build, not the on-hit, which is quite popular at the moment, that Bok, Gwinsu, into whatever you want. You can go Jack Show for a bit of tankiness, you can go with Send, you can really do anything on Varus, but he's gone for the poke build, and it's kind of a solo AP Nico angle, so it's going to be Nico's job to kill the Maokai, kill the Rumble, kill the front line.
Do you think that's perhaps on-the-fly decision? Because at first glance, you'd say this has to be lethal tempo. Varus is going to do so much work with Renata to back them up and bail them out, right? But in this occasion, you were saying that Jinx probably late-game outranges. So is this a constant, or is this a conscious decision? We need range. I need to go lethality here.
Yeah, I think so. We've got to dive in the top lane.
We certainly do. Out goes the Nature's Grasp to start things off with. Rumble ult comes on top of that one as well. They're going to try and get the first blood, and they do so secure it. Double Stubborn is burnt. Doraemon going to get the kill. Flashing across the wall is thrown, and they're going to try and live as long as he can. But a collateral damage coming on through and making sure that it is a 1-for-1.
Yeah, and crucially, we've still got the TP for Woodon, so he's not too fussed about that. That does, you know, let him just catch most of that wave. But yeah, Invictus kind of sold this teammate there. He saw the dive coming. He definitely saw Maokai walk into that bush. He's doing the Krugs. He sees him in the bush and just continues doing the Krug camp, not going to help out his brother, Invictus. And yeah, just a 1-for-1 at the end of the day. A little bit of the wave lost, but the kill goes on Graves, which I think KNG is happy with, because Graves is definitely the carry champion for their squad.
Certainly the best possible start right for Graves is you get that kill and you can continue to be as aggressive as you want to be. Look at the bot lane, Nebula's dead. We're going to get a replay as to what went wrong there, because this is a massive difference. That was an arrow that was going absolutely nowhere near Hexflash. He was panicking. He even burnt the summon a heal, expecting that burst to come on through and take him out too, but this is a massive moment for KNG as a whole.
Yeah, masterclass from the KNG bot lane. They've had prior the whole game. They've had the better bases. They've now got a 2v2 solo kill, and most importantly, both summons used from Nebula. So on this next Varus ult, that's a very dangerous time to be a Jinx on Summoner's Rift. I would expect Graves to kind of path down this lane and abuse that timer. Here we go.
What's happening here?
So Rila is 6.
Yeah, just flash ult.
Yeah, just he's 6 and Milia's not 6, and Jinx steps up, and I mean, Milia's a great pick into Varus because you can cancel out that Varus ult, but you need level 6 to do it, right?
Yeah, you certainly do. Talk about advantages, well, they've certainly found their moment to strike, right? Dragon, 3 kills. And a case made that early game seems to be one of those strong points, but we've got to really speculate, can they find a way to make sure that mid-game comes around in a pretty convincing fashion? Because the first completed item is there. It is the Yomu's Ghostblade. Invictus, once again, on this Graves, is an absolute terror with double buffs active and a sweeper to make sure nobody knows exactly where he is. He said to Jovi, your lane is not going to be fun.
Yeah, it looks like he's setting up for a mid-play here.
Look at Refury, acting as a minion. Oh, he's there, look at it go! The pop lost him, he's completely outplayed him! Jovi does not know what's happened.
No, that was so smart by Refury. He made it look like the clone was running forward and he was running backwards, but it was the other way around. That was really high level of execution, level of mastery on Nico. Well played.
What a start to this one here, really upsetting the narrative. You saw the fan vote come through. I think it was 79% in favor of ION taking this one out, believing that they can just go 6-0, but perhaps this is the day. Perhaps the Phyto blessing of asking for a 1-1 might be on the card.
Yeah, it's the Kanga buff, you know. But not all is lost, I reckon, for ION. They're going to get the 6 grubs, which is nice. Jinx is getting a solo plate mid, but the bot tower is in shambles. It's on its last legs, and we'll see if maybe they want to try to play for a counterplay top lane, but it's just so hard to dive Cassante, right, for ION.
Yeah, it really is. One of those champions that, even if you commit double ultimates to it, can certainly tank up a storm and allow somebody like the Graves to rock up and at least trade in that regard. You're talking about some of these CS differences. Now, obviously, top lane has been at a 20 deficit for a fairly long while now, but I feel like it's sort of equalized by the fact that both Riku and Riley have fan advantages in their own. So I don't really think Woodon's going to be too upset that he's down.
I think he's okay. I think he's happy with it, and you know, whenever you play weak side top, you see your team winning, you feel like you're doing your job. You know, you're happy to die here and there or drop a few CS, because at the end of the day, you're going to see that victory screen in a couple of minutes. We'll see what ION decide to do, because the thing is, their mid bot is quite far behind, so contesting this dragon doesn't seem probable. Whereas trading on Cassante also doesn't seem probable, so ION are just gonna sit and watch. You see Maokai is just recalling, they're just giving up the dragon, there's no trades available for them.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? And I think the strategy, given the fact that they do have 6 void grubs to the name, would always be sacrifice as many of these dragons as we can, try and get some siege, try and get a few more of these plates whilst the timer allows it, and then maybe say, okay, Soul Point, this is the fight we go for, perhaps we're on even footing, because yeah, they're down 1k gold, but it isn't, like you say, it isn't all doom and gloom. Yes, Kanga are strong, but ION have certainly got a point of strength to play around themselves.
Yeah, 100%. ION do have the late game in their pockets, but it is an Ocean Soul, and you have Poke Varus with an Ocean Soul. That is a very good combination. You keep poking the enemy down, and you regen yourself. So we'll see where ION choose to go from here. I think they need to try and salvage this bot lane, try and relieve the pressure of Jinx, because if this bot tower drops and Varus goes mid, it's going to be the same story.
Yeah, certainly will be. It'll be a case of asking them to attend the mid wave, and it won't be too easy given the fact that Kanga have hit their breakpoint a little bit earlier. Every single person, bar the support, has picked up their first completed item. They're feeling incredibly strong, want to be quite keen, I'm sure, to invite a little bit of a skirmish at, what, only 12 minutes in.
Yeah, and really good decision from Woodon. He's just skipped the boots and just rushed the item. Look at that, he's down a kill, down 25 CS, and he's ahead in items on Rumble. So he can actually fight him. So that's very smart itemization from him.
I have to ask you, whilst we're talking about this, okay, I've asked every single person, how do we pronounce this item? I call it the KNG Raccoon. I always butcher this. How do you say it?
I just call it KNG. I don't try to pronounce the second
We forget about the second word. It doesn't even exist.
Yeah, just call it KNG. KNG, that works.
I'll tell you a funny story. I watched Freaks like Patch Rundown. Even he didn't pronounce it. He just said, "Oh, we call it the Magic Rock." Oh, okay.
Well, who approved the item?
Thank you so much, Freak. You've really confused me. Actually, whilst we're talking about our little story time, a bit of a skirmish is going off because mid laners have gone down. Oh! Whoa, I got way too excited for a second there. He predicted the flash and then nothing else happened, so it was just me getting excited for nothing.
There you go. Yeah, the items on Ion are just a little bit underwhelming. You've got a lone dagger, some boots, and a vamp scepter. Not too much to speak of, but definitely a huge getting that Nico flash, because without the flash, there's really no way to dodge the Ion abilities.
Oh no!
Invictus with invade.
Yeah, Invictus jumps across the wall. Oh, Chain of Corruptions doesn't hit, and that could be really punishing for them right now. The Equalizer isn't the best, but out comes the Nature's Grasp, blocking in place for Shobi with the Fate Steal. Stunning free TP a little bit too late, perhaps. Wouldn't come on through, but Refuse got 3 kills to his name now. He's doing incredibly strong as this Nico, and with the Herald having just spawned, ION feel like it's game on.
Yeah, and it seems like ION was just one step ahead. The TP came through first for Jovi, and he just sacrifices his life to keep the enemy team CC'd for as long as possible, and it just felt like better coordination from ION there. Have a look in the replay.
Yeah, we'll have a look in the replay in a second. See what happened.
There we go. So it's a failed invade. Invictus W's the ground. Then they start panic running away. The first TP comes in. That's Yone. Gets a massive Fate Steal. 3-man ultimate. Unfortunately, unable to go back to his E. Gets taken down. This is probably best case scenario for Kanga, because this could have been a complete wipe.
I mean, it really could have. You saw there from Nebula chucking out the the rocket nice and early, looking to try and get the execute, looking to try and get the reset right for the mobility to run down multiple members, but only able to find one in the end. They'll be happy though, they took down Graves. Invictus is a core component of what makes them so strong. And Jovi, with his dying breath, looking to try and hold him to the tower as long as he can. It's this nice bailout. It means nothing. You get the turret, I get you.
This is what I mean about this player. It just makes no sense. You're 1v3, your team is telling you, please back off the tower, give bot, it's weak side bot. He just goes in and kills the guy. How's that possible? I don't know, but he makes it work. And that's a huge tempo swing because KNG invested all the resources bot side and Foreigner pulling the trigger on mid tower.
Certainly did. Not going to be enough to try and take down that tower, but with 6 stacks with his Void Grubs ready, it only takes a couple of wall attacks here from Nebula, who is within range, to make sure that they do take that one down. So there you have it, mid lane finally open in favor of ION. Where do they decide to go from here? Do they look to try and assist in the bot lane and find a second one nice and quickly? Or do they perhaps start to do a bit of counter jungling and say, look, you only, what, down 1,000 and a bit? It's not enough to feel like you snowballed this game.
Yeah, and crucially, there's no TP wards. There's no TP even available for Refury, so I think this Dragon is quite difficult to contest for Kanga because they do rely to get on the backline, to get on the Jinx, and one-shot to win these fights.
I suppose their saving grace would be the fact that Kanga have picked up that Scuttler, so it's going to be there a little bit, just a little bit longer in terms of being around for when that Dragon does spawn, to get a bit of an understanding as to can we make a play around this or not. But without that mid lane tower, without the mid lane control, there's no chance to get into that river. Jovi's now found himself a second in the bot lane, and we've got ourselves an interesting predicament.
Yeah, it looks like Kanga will be trying to retake river control. It's a little bit risky.
It certainly is. Look at the equalizer, burning them all down low. Out goes the bot, the rocket connects. Not enough to try and get a kill instantly, but they're still looking for it. Nebula hunting for that one into Invictus. Out goes the battle. He just needs to run away, turn and burn and get that kill. There is that reset. In goes Jovi from a million screens away. And they says, you want to try and take back that control of the river. This Dragon was always ours.
Yeah, I think really Kanga just needed to accept that without the teleport on Nico, without any sort of flank opportunities, the Dragon was just too hard to contest. They had to get that top wave pushed out and try to trade the top tower for it, but they didn't, and they paid the price. So they're walking in, I mean, Fog of War, this is perfect equalizer. Have you ever seen a better equalizer? They're next to a wall. Just as good as it gets. Maokai ult as well, undodgeable. And yeah, walk away with 1 kill and a Dragon to boot.
There you go. Fate sealed. Well, ultimately, sealed the fate of that fight because they flash away. You burn a summoner and you're going to be quite happy with that one. Yep, sure, really does have his open available very shortly, but I feel like you really are rallying around the Refury show, right? 3-0, only bounty that they have available for them, has had a pretty commanding performance, but you've allowed Jovi to play the split pushing game and try and claw his way back in.
Yeah, it seems to be a minion in the bush in the top lane. That's very suspicious. Going for a play there, but not to be. I think the biggest thing to look at here is the lane assignments have to be spot on for KNG. KNG cannot allow Cassante to play into Yone because the thing is Cassante has a magic resist item. That's all he's got. So this Yone, even though he's behind, he will eat Cassante for breakfast.
Uh-oh. Doraemon, he couldn't count numbers. He didn't realize. It doesn't even matter. 3 ranged minions. I see a 4th one. That's a little bit sus. How about a double kill? Easily baited. And, I mean, Doraemon is just a goat. He's 5-0, Fido.
Yeah, he promised us to pick a carry champion, and he's picked a carry champion, and he certainly is carrying. So, props to him there. Yeah, not really sure what to do for Kanga now. That was their tempo. They're definitely playing the tempo draft. They have lethality champions. They're shorter range. They're going for these trying to pick-offs, kind of desperate pick-offs on the side lanes. It's not working out. What's the next step?
Yeah, it's so disastrous as well, right? Because not only do you get punished by the death timers and the denial of XP and CS, but also those towers are falling on down so quickly. There's 6 stacks. They just do not exist. Yeah, Doraemon is just saying, well, I'm 5-0. You've tried to have a crack at the mid lane. You've used your most fed member, and even that hasn't been enough. So, for the first time in this game, it's actually ION have taken control of the gold lead. Now they're the ones up by 2k.
Yeah, 100%. And Kanga, they do have 2 dragons, but the problem is when you're behind in tempo like this, how do you ever get another dragon? You know, you're closer to the soul, but if you can never enter, you know, the dragon area, you can't really reach that point. So we'll see what Kanga do. I mean, they have to kind of stick to the same strategy, really. They have to go for the champions that don't have flash. That's the only champion is Yone. So really, they have to make a pick on the side lane on Yone to kind of progress this game. I don't think they can teamfight at the moment with how fed this Rumble and Maokai are. 2 items on each.
Yeah, easier said than done for sure, right? The Leandri's into Storm Surge, 8 stacks in the Dark Seal as well. Doraemon will be doing the most damage in the game right now. And as for Foreigner, he knows, I just need to be a bit of a debuff bot and a bit of a protector, right? Frozen Heart comes out, denial that lethality, hold the phone for 2 seconds. Jovi taking a 1v1, actually catches out the clone of Refury, zaps one back and says, I am going to fall on down, and Victus will be happy about that one. As for Ion, it's like, well, what can we get accomplished now in a 4v5?
Yeah, that's perfect for KNG. That's exactly what we said. You have to pick off the champion that has no subs. And Millia always has the ultimate mid lane, so it's a harder target. They go for Yon, they get the pick off, and they kind of delay the game. Baron started for Ion. It's not too fast.
This is a little bit exciting here. They're going to force their hands. We feel strong enough to entertain the 4v5. Equalizer, surely good enough. We've got the cleanse from the Milio. We believe in our mechanics. Out goes the Nature's Grasp. The early TP, is that going to go to waste? It certainly is. The numbers advantage means absolutely nothing. They've literally got a TP for free.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get the mid tower. If they can get this mid tower, it's definitely a worthwhile TP, but they're a little bit slow moving back to it.
TP's not going to happen. But Jovi's coming in with one of his own right now. Look, try and find the moment. He has no ultimate. He has no flash. He doesn't really have much, but his body on the line to say, seeing me alone was enough to force all 5 members back. And we've got ourselves an ARAM here, all grouped up in the mid lane. It's Woodon looks to try and jump in. Refury has flash, and Pop lost him in about 10 seconds. Even he, across that wall with the chickens there, is wondering if this is the moment to strike. Ultimately, everyone's going to decide to go back to base.
Yeah, Jovi decided to donate his TP since he saw Refury doing the same. Kind of a gentleman's agreement there. I don't think anything was really going to happen there, right? Without Yon, if he goes in there, he's kind of a dead man. So we go back to the stalemate. The game stabilizes. The game plan for KNG probably hasn't changed. I think they still have to make a play on the side lane, on the Rumble, perhaps getting his bounty, because whilst he does a lot of damage, he's very squishy. No Zhonya's, no magic resist. KNG retaking bot side, enemy bot side vision for this dragon, setting it up. They've got the mid prior at the moment.
So they can set the prior into something. That's the real question in ask. If they can, let's try and make sure that 2 becomes 4 on these dragons. They need to get some mid lane control. So finally, mid lane has been completely destroyed on either end, and the dragon's up in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and everybody's got 2 items except for Jinx and Cassandra, I suppose. So. Wonder if that changes anything for KNG. They're running off to Jovi.
Yeah, there's the Yomu's burnt nice and early. Jovi looking to be the focus. A one-man ult from the Fate as he jumps in, jumps out, rips back that clone and tries to get a kill, but only to the waiting arms of Woodon and Rela. Refury and Victus burned down so low by Doraemon, trying to do it all on his own with the equalizer. And I think that alone, even if it hasn't got the kill, it has denied the dragon. It's bought them more time. And a comp with more range may get 4 Ocean Dragons.
Yeah, definitely, and it seems like KNG, they get this 1 kill consistently now, multiple times in a row. They get a pick off, but they can't get anything with it because too many resources used on just the one, just the Jovi kill alone. So they have to back away. One consistent thing we can see is if you go to the side lane and Jovi's there, he will die. So that's definitely a win condition for KNG. He doesn't seem to be respecting them, always stepping up a little bit too far. He doesn't have a blue trinket, which is probably 4 red trinkets on Ion. Making the side lanes a little bit unsafe. See what KNG decide to do next. Going for top tower. Seems like a free objective here. They've got the tempo. They've got the earlier reset on Ion.
See what they can get accomplished with this bit of tempo. Then they're going to go look to try and turn that attention into top lane, find themselves their 3rd turret of the game. So every single adder has now been destroyed. Rilla perhaps caught out in the mid lane. 4 members converging on a spot, but without any kind of Shrillies or movement speed boost. Unable to try and find that one. Already burnt by Hex Splash there.
Yeah, looked a little bit scary there. But nothing ended up happening, and Jinx has a bounty. 0 kills Jinx has a bounty, according to Riot Games. So Nebula very strong right now for Ion.
Let's see then. What do they decide to do? What is their next point of call? Because I feel like for the lethality champions, maybe 3 items, that seems to be the break point when it starts to say you don't really get much stronger than this. I'm sure when the likes of a Rumble and a Jinx can really start to take over the game. 2 items complete for Nebula on this Jinx so far. Baron is already down to 50% and a TP coming in from KNG right inside the pit itself. A 2nd time they've forced their hand at the Baron. The 2nd time they've received the Summoner for it.
Right. Looks like a bit of a disengage from KNG. They're still holding the bush. A lot of posturing from both sides. Nobody's confident enough to engage. They know that Renata bailout is there. They know the Millia ult is there, so you sort of have to bait out these abilities first before you commit to a proper team fight. And that's one teleport down for Kanga, but the advantage is they have two, whereas Ion have only one with the Rumble Ignite. So it hasn't really changed the game plan for Kanga. I think they're still okay, but definitely on the back foot in terms of vision on Baron.
Let's see then, with Foreigner clearing out the vision, all three wards in the Baron area, you're not really looking at too much understanding as to what is going on. A nice one planted outside the Baron pit, but still one inside. They know exactly what is going on here from Ion. Invictus waiting out of vision, out of sight and out of mind as the other three look to try and group up inside the entry point. A two-man ultimate layered beautifully there with the equalizers. Jovi tries to go absolutely crazy with it. He's 1 and 5, but it doesn't seem to care. He's jumped on back, and the Baron is only now just dropped. There goes Jovi, still taking out the world, but Nebula forced to flash away, receive the shield, and live to fight another day. A 5-0 Rumble finds another, and the Super Mega Death Rocket does not find its reset.
Yeah, and that fight just came down to Rhea Fury thinking too long about his teleport. Might not be over though. Foreigner just gets his base cancelled. No Baron here to pick up for Ion, so it's just a couple of consolation kills. And most importantly, Nico did save her flash, so there's that tool available, whereas the Jinx has lost hers. So the next team fight could be crucial for Kanga, but that fight was pretty much just 4v5. You see, Rhea Fury's pushing the bot wave. He really just needs to go in as soon as he sees the Maokai ult. He needs to channel his teleport, but he doesn't, and this teleport is still not being channeled. Now it's being channeled, but Kurek's already dead. Everybody's disengaged, and Rhea Fury's in Narnia. Not sure how he survives here, but he does. And the fight just kind of phases out. There's nothing to get here for Kanga.
Yeah, also a TP that's found little to no value, right? You pop a clone, you walk away and say, that was my job well done. But once again, we've talked about just how strong this Nico has been, and the ultimate being up and available certainly can cause a few problems if Ion are grouped up like they have been, looking to try and rally behind the Maokai, for instance, and there is no Breath of Life available for the Milio. There is no cleanse. They are in a world of trouble. Not going to be deterred, though. They are going to try for it once again, and with another dragon spawning, dragon number 5, up in less than a minute. It's a question of, will we be doing a trade here for the Baron, or will we all in on this one objective down south?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about with the Jinx range. You know, they're comfortably getting mid-prio now for these objectives in the mid to late game, and importantly as well, look at Yone items. He's got a QSS, so that adds a lot of kill pressure on the sidelines. Rhea Fury not able to just E him and run away anymore. Definitely has to be a lot more cautious when playing that 1v1.
Yeah, certainly does. But I've never been so scared of a 1-5 champion. It feels like we've really hit that sort of solo queue point of an 0-10 Yasuo, just being an absolute terror in this game, could single-handedly win or lose you this game.
Yep.
It's been causing a lot of pressure. As I said, out goes the bot, and there's the Nature's Grasp. We're going to try and lock down as many members as possible in this mid lane. One-man ultimate onto Invictus coming out of Doraemon. Not enough to try and get the kill, but in comes Jovi with that TP, looking to go for the one-man ult onto Reefy, remove that mid lane assassin and say, I need my vengeance for an awful mid lane performance. Out goes the clone. It does not matter because Nebula's found his first kill. There becomes the double kill. The bot slow, and Kurak is now lined up in his sights. The shield as that a handshake forward, and Kurak shreds him down. No bailout, no denial. It's a triple kill for Jinx. It's a Baron on the menu.
Yeah, triple kill for Jinx. Gimme, and this game is just completely in Ion's control now. They've hit the late game, they've hit the item spikes, and now they get a free Baron.
Jovi's not done yet. He wants more. He says,
wow.
We know you'll go for this dragon. We know you're not going to check this bush. I can snipe something. He's sneaking behind them. I dare say he'll face check them as well. Or in their face. Mate. They're not looking. Are they in the shop? Oh, no.
Wow, that's very unlucky, but it's very, very good play from Jovi. You know, understanding that he doesn't need to commit himself as a restock to Baron. It's already secured, and he's trying to get even more on the other side, make sure that there's no sneaky dragon takes happening, and we've got the replay here. So a solo one-man ult on Rumble, it can work, but it really needs to be his whole team committed. You know, the Varus ult needs to follow up here, but Varus was charging his Q there, so Doraemon gets to live. The Renata ult, very mediocre, just hits the Rumble. And Rhea Fury, no ult, no life. Very hard to survive. Gets a good Zonya's off, but then the perfectly timed Jinx rocket from Nebula takes him down, and once that Jinx gets a single reset, the rest of the fight is just run away if you're Kanga.
Yeah, it was a very awkward fight for Kanga, wasn't it? I mean, you see Rufy going for the one-man ult, instantly gets cleansed out by the Milio, and then after that you're thinking, well, what's your next step? You've kind of exhausted your potential here, maybe hard-forcing a fight that wasn't really ideal. The consequence has been that you've lost all these members, you've lost the Dragon, you've lost the Baron, and you've granted Ion an even stronger sort of mid to late game position.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say this, Skimmy, but Refury have KNG have 2 CC combo. They've got the Nico ult and they've got the Varus ult, and now Amelia has his ult and the Mikhail's. So how do you get picks now? You've got 2 cleanses, 3 if you count the QSS. These champions will never stand in one spot and let you kill them.
Yeah, QSS, Cleanse, Summoner, all those abilities familiar themselves. I mean, yeah, as you quite rightly say, your champion has pretty much been invalidated. Drop 2 ultimates, zone them away from the tower. You can have lethality, but you aren't doing much. Oh. Nice shield, nice try, no bailout, no chance to survive. And ION have been given a sniff of blood, a sense of urgency that we're just far too strong. You've had your fun in the early game, but late game is where we shine.
Yeah, and the Crypto Bloom explosion at the end, love to see that. Very pretty, very, very satisfying when you get Crypto Bloom as a mage on the Rumble. And I think this is just the beginning of the end, Skimmy. They're knocking down the door of the second inhibitor. There's really no engage for KNG. Just have to sit and watch while their base falls to pieces.
That certainly does. So easy for them to take down these structures as well, given they have all 6 stacks of the Void Grubs. 2 inhibitors claimed, all the Void Mites spawning, and just basically creating a second army bolstered by the Baron buff. It's, yeah, as you say, very, very hard to try and contend with, and really this is now ION's game to lose.
100%, yeah, you made a good point. The Void Grub's now paying off, definitely in these sieges, making it much faster to take down these towers. And also, even if your wave dies, right, you got an extra couple of shots that the Void Grubs little Voidlings can tank for you. So seems like ION's plan to play for Void Grubs has worked out. They've played for Void Grubs, they've reached the late game, they have multiple cleanses, they outrange. It's, yeah, it's checkmate.
But that's my favorite word, my favorite term, right, is looking to try and find your way into a checkmate position, and it certainly feels like that in terms of the inhibitors, the base, the fact that you're having to try and cosplay as a minion to hope that somebody goes for a face check. It's just not going to happen at this point of the game, right? You've had your chance to try and snowball with all this wombo combo lethality, but it's not really blossomed into much more than that. So we'll be keeping our eyes on the cleanse, the QSSs, and everything else, because I feel like it's as simple as them just grouping up bot lane, dropping an equalizer and a Nature's Grasp again, and saying you're zoned from that tower, there's your second one, now you find yourself stuck in the base, waiting for game 2.
Yeah, that's it, Skimmy. They just need to play 2 lanes, really just put 4 people bot, 1 person mid to sort of threaten the flank, threaten the end, and just comfortably hit this tower and close out this game. But KNG, they still have a chance. We do have the flash on Nico, we've got the flash on Reela as well.
Here we go. We've already found a moment to strike. Kurek is the target, and Kurek is the kill. In and out. In a flash really there for Jovi. Blink, and you will miss it. In goes Reela, or rather Refury, going for a one-man kill, but he's going to get traded out by the Storm Surge from the Afterlife. They did get Doraemon. That is who they wanted. No perfect KDA for him today. But the price is that your base has now been completely annihilated. Not a single inhibitor left standing. And now you have a very exposed core.
Yeah, and that's the story of this game, Skimmy. They keep getting one nice pick-off, but just run out of steam to kill the rest of the champions. There's so much threat here on the side of ION. The Yone, the Rumble, the Jinx, all carries in their own respect. And they've executed beautifully to get this win.
They certainly will be. Going back to the fountain is where they'll find themselves for the remainder of this game. One last chance to dance inside the Nexus, but it's